The other freshman will start in net in the second half. And we're ready to go here at SU Soccer Stadium. AJ Myers, Adam Gotkin taking you through this one. And Adam, there is that interesting kickoff thing that I still have not quite made my mind around if I like it or not.
I don't know if I've seen Syracuse do that yet this year. That's something they did a lot in past years, the long kick at the beginning. I think if anything, it's just trying to get the ball into the Florida State end of the field. I think Nikki Thrasher-Adams knows that it's going to be hard to control possession. So if she can try and keep the ball on the right side of the pitch in the first half, then it'll really help out this Syracuse team.
Syracuse is in the blue, moving left to right, and then Florida State in the granite, moving right to left, and they're immediately in the attacking third.
This is going to be a really tough day for the Syracuse wingbacks, Kendall Lawher and Gabby Wisbeck. Talked about it in the open, but they're going to be running up and down the pitch throughout this entire game. You could already see Lawher there gets beat. She's going to have to be careful to not get caught too far forward.
It's two teams that are rolling with the same formation, so a lot will look the same, but it will be interesting to see how much attacking Syracuse can do with a Florida State side that loves to score goals. In the last 3 games, they've won their last 3, the Seminoles. They've gotten 14 goals in those games.
This is a team that, when they win, they dominate more often than not. It's been, you know, a bit of a shaky season, though. They had that draw early in the season against Kansas, but after that, they bounce back and have those 14 goals in 3 games. So, you know, even after that maybe bit of a disappointing result earlier in the year, there's definitely a lot of hope within the team right now.
As Wrianna Hudson almost decks down Emma Klein, a foul there on the sophomore forward, who is having a bit of a homecoming today. She is from the Rochester area. When we spoke to Florida State's head coach Brian Pensky, he actually didn't mind that poor result against Kansas because it woke the team up and it showed him that any kind of slowish game from his side could result in a poor result.
Yeah, and we had a really great conversation with Coach Pensky. He was really honest with us, talking about how when you're a team that believes you can win the national title every single season, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to get up for, you know, your games early in the year. But that was really a wake-up call in the loss to Kansas, or the draw against Kansas.
Long throw in from Syracuse. That's something they will do nearly the entire game. It's Mia Klommer with the press, but it goes out for a Seminoles goal kick.
The long throw, definitely an interesting strategy, but I think part of it is Nikki Thrasher-Adams wants to make the most of any opportunities, make the most of chaos whenever she can, and you can get chaos a lot of the time if you throw a ball into the box and it, you know, bounces around. The Orange have scored a couple goals on those long throws this season.
Ball fed into the other striker there for the Seminoles, Jordan Dudley. Her and Hudson leading the line. Dudley slipping into the midfield, defended by Emma Klein. Turnover for Florida State, and Syracuse has an opportunity to run the other way. Ball that's flicked out of bounds. It was Gabby Wisbeck who came up with the turnover, and any sloppy play from Florida State, Adam, Syracuse is going to need to capitalize.
They will, and I think that this is where we'll see this lack of change in tactics make a difference compared to last year's in conference play for Syracuse, because there are numbers forward, so you have a chance to counterattack. You just have to be really clinical on those counters. You don't have that luxury to maybe have a bad first touch, because the Seminoles are so quick, so athletic, that if you have a bad touch, they'll bounce back and they'll find themselves in the correct position.
The last time these sides came together here at SU Soccer Stadium, Syracuse, they took the lead twice but couldn't pull out a result.
That was just a crazy, chaotic game 2 years ago, one where Shea Vanderbosch stood on her head in net with 16 saves for Syracuse. And we'll probably need a similar type of game today. Some chaos, maybe an uncharacteristic goal or two, an own goal, a penalty, and then Vanderbosch to be her best.
Taylor Suarez works a great ball to Dudley. Dudley in on net, a ball slid in through the 6-yard box, but it's cleared away by Jasmine Nixon. Strong defending from the Orange.
Just an incredible clearance there from Nixon, the transfer in from Kentucky, but that's a great early opportunity for Dudley. You see the speed that she has. This is going to be a really tough matchup for Bree Bridges, the true freshman center back for the Cuse.
Syracuse has a few young players on this roster. Bridges, one of those freshmen in the starting lineup. This is her first taste of conference play. Of course, Thursday was, but this is a real perennial ACC threat, and they'll have to defend a corner now.
This is where you really have to keep an eye on number 42 in the Garnet, Wrianna Hudson. 6'2" as the forward. She scored against Syracuse last year. And she's just so big, it's pretty simple. She's able to elevate and get above everyone. If there's a good insertion here from Taylor Suarez, she'll give Hudson a chance to head it in.
Suarez has 2 assists on the year. Slips when taking the corner, and that is one she'll want back. No rain at all here in Syracuse. It's a beautiful day. It rained a little bit yesterday, but I think that was just a slipping or a trip. And for Syracuse, this has been a strong start to their season. Non-conference play turned out pretty well for them, and Mia Clommer with leading the goals. That's something Nikki Thrasher-Adams didn't have last year, Adam, that this team's really benefiting this year.
Clommer's been a massive difference maker. She was actually with Syracuse last season, but missed the entire year due to injury. And Nikki Thrasher-Adams said that they were playing all of last year without their #1 goal scorer and their striker. So having her back in the lineup has been such a massive change for this team. Former Division II Player of the Year. She's so skilled, so physical, but now is where you really get to see the type of impact that Clommer can make, because her physicality, she's able to dominate against your lesser opponents at the start of the season. Now against the Florida State team that's just as physical, how is she going to look up top? That's what I'm watching out for today.
Ball fed over to Jada McGrew. That's the one change for FSU from their game on Thursday against Louisville. And we'll see Coach Penske against Louisville. He made a ton of first half changes as a foul committed by Clommer on McGrew. McGrew, another freshman on the field today. Just her second start of the season.
You can actually step higher. Make sense?
She made her verbal commitment to FSU back in 2024 when she was still well into high school, and that's really how this program operates. When they see talent, they grab it as soon as they can.
And they get players who have so much, gravity behind them, players who are on the youth national teams and have done incredible things at the club and youth level. So, they look and see what you've done freshman, sophomore year, and then the second you can reach out at the start of junior season, they like to go all out and get their stars.
Dudley down, holding the back of her ankle. She took a challenge from Natalie Magnana. Just an innocent foul from Magnana, really. I don't think she was trying to add any content or anything. Set piece opportunity for the Noles. McCormick will take it. Not the best set piece chance for Florida State. Can Syracuse counter? Rauch sends it over to Lawher down the wing, but McGrew has that covered. Neither side with a shot on goal yet.
It's pretty odd that Florida State's had a pair of set pieces, and both of them there's just been a slip or a miss hit. Don't know why that would be happening with this Seminoles team. You think that these players will always be able to hit it cleanly. The field is never going to be an issue here at SU Soccer Stadium. The groundskeepers do an incredible job. It's one of the best maintained pitches in the league, but they don't have their footing.
Florida State tacking. Syracuse has numbers back. McCormick, she can hit from distance. She tried that, but a great block by Klein. Fed out wide for Ashley Rauch. Just 2 ahead for the Orange. She looked for Clommer in the center. The final ball wasn't there.
And this is where I think the issues are going to come for Syracuse. If they don't want to change their tactics, they're still going to get caught with players behind because of Florida State's just nonstop pressure. So you have a chance to counter, and you only have your forwards ahead. It's going to be really tough.
Taylor Suarez, who anchors down the center of the midfield. Another cross into the box, looking far post for Simmons, but it drifts away for a goal kick.
And Nikki Thrasher-Adams at least told us that they're not changing tactics, but right now Mia Clommer, one of the forwards, is moving all the way back into the box. Mya McDermott almost going back there as well, so it seems as if they are understanding they have to be a little bit more defensive-minded, but you know, this is going to be really, really tough on these players in terms of their fitness because it's so hot out today. Maybe the hottest game of the season, if not the opener when it was up in the 90s earlier in the year. But this is going to be really tough for these SU players to be running back and forth, especially as you talked about before, against a Florida State team that likes to sub almost everyone.
1-2 play with Suarez, who's looking for Hudson in the center. It's fed all the way back, and there you get a clean look at that Florida State back line, a 3-back. McGrew.
Yeah, the parents are sitting not in the press box, but from the left press box. They are in the first row. They're right.
Hudson, such a strong player in that center for Florida State. But when we talked to Coach Penske, she described her as an angel, as a type of player that has such a good attitude, is always team first, and did so much before she came to Florida State, and she's doing a really nice job translating that with the Seminoles.
Hey, went out, back at me.
Simmons with the throw.
Woody and Wanda Hudson. Woody W-O-O-D-Y and Wanda double.
Goes out for a Syracuse throw-in. Kendall Lawher will take. Hudson immediately defended by Bridges. That will be a fascinating matchup all afternoon. Chance for Syracuse down in the box, and the referee says it is a foul for Syracuse, and that was Cameron Simmons committing the foul on Kendall Lawher. First glance, it looked like it could have gone the other way, but I could see a clear trip from Florida State.
And just the pure skill is already out on full display right now from Florida State. All of these quick, short passes are perfectly, you know, cleat to cleat. It's incredible the way that they're able to just get, you know, these opportunities and these short buildups. It's something that you haven't seen Syracuse do once yet today when they've had the ball in the midfield, is try and slowly build up. Yet for Florida State, it's what they do every single time. They're just so skilled.
Ashley Rauch does a nice job winning the ball, but the referee says she used her hand there, and it definitely was up in a bit of an unnatural position. Hudson starts with her back to goal a lot and then looks to turn it and feed it out wide.
You see like that quick little 10 seconds of those quick passes in traffic. That's the difference between this Florida State team and the other squads that you'll see. They're just unbelievably talented.
Dudley looking to rip a shot off. She gets around Klein, feeds a 1-2 in, but Syracuse defense holds strong. Vanderbosch, an interesting distribution away. Not sure if that was her intention to keep it on the ground.
That's awkward. Emma Klein passes it back on the ground to Vanderbosch. If anything, she probably just has to boot that wide, send it out of play, and try and reset. You never want to clear it on the ground in front of the net. There can be chaos after that.
Space for Mia Clommer. McDermott is on her side. Not too many numbers forward for the Orange. Strong defense from Florida State. Ross that was looking to get into the 6-yard box, doesn't reach a blue shirt. And it's booted all the way back in. Florida State will now reset and start their next possession. Cormack has really showed her skill with her feet, and this is just beautiful play so far from the Seminoles. Back into Hudson. Suarez rips a shot, blocked by Bridges. We've seen Florida State do that a few times now. Here's Sophie Wynn's cross. It's gonna fall right to Hudson in front of goal. Her first shot, and it's a good shave by Vanderbosch. That is an area Syracuse does not want to see Hudson in.
No, but she probably should have gone with the one-touch shot here, and the Orange definitely lucky that Hudson tried to get the extra, you know, tap, but when you hit it right at Shea Vanderbosch, she'll make the save every single time. The reason that that play built up is because these Syracuse wingbacks are getting caught so far forward. There's just so many opportunities to build up behind them. Kendall Lawher and Gabby Wisbeck have so much pressure on them on the outsides. You're going to see Florida State continue to attack the outside with those through balls and then send it back into the middle with Hudson.
Yeah, Florida State throw in, and Syracuse is not happy with that decision. Sophie Wynn will take the throw. Numbers out wide for the for Florida State, rather. It's Simmons. Takes a long effort, and Vanderbosch had it covered all the way.
And again, I'll say it again, Simmons had that opportunity because Kendall Lawher is being pushed forward as one of the wingbacks, and there's just so much room in behind on these left wings. I mean, Lawher is all the way in the center circle. Now Magnotta has to move over, then there's so much more stress on Bree Bridges inside, and this is just going to be a really, really tough matchup for Syracuse. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some pretty early subs to help out Lawher and Wisbeck. Julia Arbelize, the freshman, has been very impressive in that wingback position, but either way, there's going to need to be some help for these players on the outsides for the Orange.
Mia Clommer chasing this one. It's going to go all the way back to the keeper, Osteen, who is still looking to see her first collegiate shot faced. Last time these sides met was last season. It was a 5-1 Florida State win, and Simmons got 2 goals in that one. So he likes when the Orange come up on the calendar. One doesn't quite reach Hudson, and Syracuse will gladly let it roll out for a corner.
Now, AJ, you really want to see Syracuse just try and control possession here for a minute in the midfield, build up quickly, and not just resort to a long kick ahead to just, move the ball out of your own area, because then we'll see Florida State control possession and get another offensive chance. The Seminoles, while they haven't scored yet, already have, I would say, 3 to 4 really good offensive opportunities, and it's when Syracuse gets caught with numbers forward. They got to slowly build up and, not just be running back and forth, because they're going to get tired really quickly.
No matter where you look on this Florida State roster, whether it's under 20 or under 17, almost every player has some form of national team experience, and that's just the kind of test that Syracuse is going to have to deal with today. And when we spoke to head coach Brian Penske, he said that's not easy all the time, having to deal with players who want minutes, want to consistently play, because maybe they went away over the summer and consistently played for their under 20 national team, and then they come back here and they're not a starter, and that's not always the easiest thing to handle. But he has done an excellent job. This program is just 2 years removed from a national championship where they didn't lose a single game.
And when you think about your great teams and your all-time great teams, it's all about the buy-in that you get from the top to the bottom of the roster. And your all-time great teams always have really good players on the bench, because those are the players that you're practicing against. They need to be just as good. And it seems like Brian Penske's done an excellent job of getting everyone from the top to the bottom of the roster involved in the game, and in matches like this, putting his freshman keepers in instead of Addie Todd, the regular starter, just making sure everyone has an opportunity to play in a match that's important.
And the starter goalkeeper, Addie Todd, he said is one of the more vocal leaders of this group. So for her to take a game off is something that probably isn't easy, but it benefits the whole team, getting those other keepers experience.
And it just shows the maturity of Todd and the maturity of a lot of the upperclassmen on this Florida State team, players who were there when this team won the national championship back in 2023. They all understand what's needed to be great.
Rauch was looking for Wisbeck, couldn't quite reach her, and it's out for a Syracuse throw-in.
Long throw, organized. Match up.
AJ Myers, Adam Gockett here at SU Soccer Stadium for number 7 Florida State and Syracuse. Adam, it's been a good start from the Seminoles, but the Orange defense has held up strong.
Yeah, they have. Now, I think a lot of that is that Florida State has been incredible up until not even the final third, but like the final sixth of the field. They can't get past the 18-yard box. They're trying too much to get outside shots, which you're never really going to score against Shea Vanderbosch with outside shots. You have to try and get within the 18 to get one past her.
Wrianna Hudson went to the ground, or that was Dudley that went to the ground, and she was looking at the referee asking for a foul.
This is where Syracuse wants to be right now. They've been able to keep this ball in Florida State's half of the field for the last minute or two. That really helps out this back line, not having to run back and forth, and especially these wing backs like Lawher here. She's able to push forward a little bit more. Now, the question is how quickly is Florida State going to be able to counter, and if these SU players are too far forward, you know, is FSU going to be able to catch them behind?
Haven't seen any substitutions yet. Syracuse has a few down on their end, and so too does Florida State.
Take it.
Excellent physical defending there from Jasmine Nixon. She's been pretty quiet throughout a lot of this season. She's not on the ball much, but just excellent physically there to slow down the attack forward. She's so impressive, the daughter of the offensive coordinator on the Syracuse football team, and she has that, you know, coach mentality out on the field where she always knows where to be and always knows where the line is of being too physical and how to work the referees.
And as a center back, being quiet usually is a good thing when your name doesn't pop up too much.
Without a doubt.
Great first control by Dudley, but Syracuse once again defending strong. This will be most likely another long throw-in from Lawher. The Orange treat these throw-ins as almost corner kicks in a way, as it's another set-piece opportunity to cause some danger. Fed into McDermott. She's been quiet in these opening minutes. Lawher whips it into the box. First time effort is going to go over the bar. There's Wisbeck with the opportunity.
It's a good chance, though, for Syracuse, and you see that's why you go with the longer throw-in, just to try and create some chaos, get those numbers forward and ahead, and, you know, good opportunity there on the one touch.
McCormick, one of those anchors in the midfield for Florida State, working the ball up and back on the field. Opportunity here for Taylor. Suarez hits a shot, and again, strong defending from the Orange. Bree Bridges, that's probably maybe her third or fourth block of the game.
I mean, that's been the big difference right now, is these Syracuse defenders are just doing an excellent job of getting their bodies in front of the ball and blocking everything. I mean, you can just see time and time again when Florida State is able to get numbers ahead and Syracuse is 5 behind the ball. That's where danger is. And now here's these hockey subs. You have, what is this, 5, 6?
I think 6.
6 fresh legs coming on right now for Florida State. These next 5 minutes are going to be key. These SU legs are already a little bit tired. They're going to be running up and down the pitch right now.
The commentator's nightmare, but you understand why Florida State does it when you have so much talent on your bench and you have the ability to just make a almost full line change. You might as well. Syracuse did make one change, and it was in that wingback area. Anna Rupert came on for Kendall Lawher.
And now Mya McDermott, who started the game as one of the forwards, shifts to that right wingback spot for Syracuse. When we talked to Nikki Thrasher-Adams before the game, she was so complimentary of McDermott and what she's able to do on the defensive side of things when she's playing in that wingback role. This is a tough spot to be, running up and down the pitch. I just talked about it a lot with Kendall Lawher and how she was struggling to get back. There's going to be a lot of stress here on McDermott, and we'll see if those fitness levels are where they need to be. But Nikki Thrasher-Adams said that McDermott could play back-to-back 90-minute games, so I think that this is a spot where they're very confident in her.
Still 0-0 here at SU Soccer Stadium. Back line remained the same as McGrew turned it over, and McDermott, this is her first real chance on the wing. Needs a 1-2 with Anna Rupert, but Rupert was offside.
I like the patience there from McDermott, not trying to go too fast or create chaos. That's what we've seen a lot with this Syracuse offense, is when they're on the ball, they just try and do too much. That time McDermott, good and patient, but Rupert just goes off sides, can't hold up that run.
Florida State trying to work out of the back. It causes a turnover. This is perhaps a chance for Syracuse. A 1-2. It just doesn't connect fully, though.
Go! Go, go! Turn! Carry! Oh, go, Matty, run!
Jimenez, one of the new players to come on for the Seminoles on the ball there briefly. So too was Torre. Player hasn't seen too much action. Ball lifted into the box, and Vanderbosch nearly had to come up with a save. That was Jimenez with the strike. The fifth-year student.
What a strike there from the outside from Jimenez. Almost tested Vanderbosch to have to tip that over. But Shea's usually going to be strong in those situations. That's where she's at her best so often.
Syracuse made another substitution. Olivia Bazzo checking in for Emma Klein in the midfield.
She's one of the freshmen that Nikki Thrasher-Adams has been so complimentary about. So athletic, brings a lot of size into the middle of the pitch at 5'10", and you know, she doesn't play like a freshman, has such great soccer IQ, always knows where to be out on the pitch. That's a great crew of sixes that they have on right now with the two underclassmen, with Croyle and Bazzo, two players that could be real keys in the middle of the field for the next 3 years for the Orange.
When we spoke to head coach Nikki Thrasher-Adams, she really liked what she was getting from her midfield and their ability to keep possession and cause havoc in the attacking end. Duren swings one in for Rupert. No one in the 6-yard box, though, for Syracuse, and Rupert can't reach it.
It's a great thought, though, by McDermott. Completely caught that Florida State back line off guard. They were all thinking it was going to be another short pass. Instead goes for the little flick ahead, and it almost worked out. McDermott had an assist to Rupert on a pretty similar play a couple matches ago. She's very creative and does a good job of mixing things up and, you know, never making the same pass or same play twice.
First ball that's played long from a goal kick from Florida State, as the attack has totally shifted for FSU with the substitutions. Ahmed with the ball, looking to feed it wide, and referee saw a handball, and this will be a good chance for the Seminoles to test Vanderbosch.
This is an excellent opportunity here for a free kick, exactly where you want to be if you want to go to goal. But this is where you trust Shea Vanderbosch in net. You know, you're okay with giving up a free kick in a spot like this. There, the handball against Olivia Bazzo, just couldn't keep that hand up against the body. But this is going to be an excellent chance here for the free kick. All about communication with Vanderbosch, making sure that the wall is in the right spot and, you know, she's not getting blinded or anything.
Laura Dantis stands over it. She's yet to score a goal this season, does have 2 assists, but she's lining up as if she's going to test Vanderbosch. Dantis with the free kick, and you do a lot more to score on Vanderbosch today.
One of those things that you don't really think about unless it happens, where Shea Vanderbosch is so good, is just making sure that she brings that in, doesn't allow the rebound, doesn't allow any chaos after the free kick, just cleanly grabs it.
Ashlyn Anderson is the other attacking option now for Florida State up top.
One of the differences that you see right now between the Syracuse back line and the Florida State back line is how FSU players basically know where they want to go with the ball before they have it. You see there Magnotta just a little bit too long to actually make a pass. She probably should have gone back to McDermott right away.
Seen some great 1-2 touch passes from Florida State throughout this game, especially in the middle of the park. That one doesn't connect, though, and Syracuse could counter. Plummer had McDermott wide. She spins it around the other way. It's a slip, no foul, our referee says. Torre can go the other way.
See, just the quick passes. They never hold on to the ball for more than 3 seconds. That's the difference right now.
Ball crossed in the box, looking for Torre. Vanderbosch spills it momentarily, but she puts out any danger.
A little bit uncharacteristic there for Vanderbosch to actually let up a rebound for a second, but an excellent job to make sure that she always knew where the ball was and keep it in her possession.
Plummer, one of the few Syracuse players with the sleeves rolled up today. We mentioned it is a hot day here in Syracuse. Orange are going to make another change as Mya Brandon will come in. And got the goal against SMU. Opened up her account for the season. Comes in for Gabby Wisbeck.
I love the aggressiveness and confidence that Nyhan has been playing with recently. She almost had a goal at Princeton. If you ask Nikki Thrasher-Adams, she did have a goal. There was a little bit of controversy. Did it go over the line? Did it not? But either way, she's been playing with confidence, trying on the outside shots, and they're working so far. So Syracuse has made 3 substitutions in this half, AJ, and 2 of them are with those wing backs. Nikki Thrasher-Adams knows that that's where these players are really being tested, running up and down the pitch, and so, you know, that's where these changes are. But surprisingly, we haven't seen Julia Arbelizen yet, the freshman who was incredible through about the first 4 or 5 games of the season.
Head coach Nikki Thrasher-Adams praised her as well, really liked what she's seen from her. And looking at the substitution battle, if you want to spin it that way, Florida State's made 7, Syracuse just made 3. The players that do exit in this first half, they can come back in the second half. I'm sure Florida State head coach Brian Pensky will probably roll out with the same 11 come the second half. Just one of the ultimate luxuries that he has to really be able to play almost 2 separate teams in one game.
You really see that make a difference in, you know, the final 20 minutes when you have one team that's tired and the other who is almost entirely pretty fresh legs.
More quick passes from the Seminoles. Montes has looked really comfortable in the center of the park. Doesn't get it back there. And it rolls out for a Florida State throw.
AJ, I don't think we've seen Syracuse have a single one of these moments where they have the quick 1-2 passes. FSU's just so quick on the ball, so talented, and again, it's all about knowing where you want to go with the ball before you even have it at your feet. You see there, one touch, one touch, one touch. They're so quick around, they make you run, and eventually there's going to be a lane that opens up from it.
Moving through the midfield is Jimenez, a shot there, and it goes just wide from Torre, the freshman, who has played in 4 games, but only 116 minutes in those 4 games. So she's getting an early look in this first half.
Torre, the freshman from Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. That's an area that Brian Pensky loves to recruit, loves to get players from. He lived there for most of his life, coached there in high school, actually, where I'm from, too. He coached at the same school that my best friend growing up went to, and it's a heck of a soccer area with so much talent, and Torre, just the next of those players from the DMV to star at FSU.
A few transfers as well on this Florida State side. He's like to tap into the transfer portal, as almost everybody does now in college athletics, and grabbing a few players out of the ACC as well to get that experience that this team needs.
But even then, he does a good job of not bringing all transfers in, because you don't want to get to the point where you have an entirely new team.
Ashley Rauch, full steam ahead, is pulled down by Laura Dantas, and this will be a great set-piece opportunity for the Orange.
You got to make the most of this chance right here. This is a free kick in a really good spot. Although kind of surprisingly, Syracuse is not bringing its height forward. Those center backs, at least for now, and Nixon, Bridges, and Magnato, who usually push ahead on corner kicks and free kicks, are all staying back. So maybe that's a sign that Rauch is going to go for goal here.
Or is it fear of a Florida State quick counter?
I think that's the other thing, too. Absolutely. You're very worried that, you know, quickly Florida State could just push ahead.
Not a shot right on goal. It's put into the area, and it's going to trickle out for a Syracuse corner kick.
And now you see the height start to push forward with Nixon heading into the box. It's a good look, though, go towards the back post. You just see how many more players there are, though, in the area there for Florida State. Just so many numbers in the area.
Rauch has done a lot of running in this first half. She looks quite exhausted. She's going to head to the sideline. Julia Koval checks in for her in the midfield. Mya McDermott will take the corner. Ball gets up, and it's right into the hands of Evan Osteed, who only has 10 minutes left in this game, assuming that head coach Brian Pensky sticks to his plan with playing 2 keepers.
That's just an excellent service there from McDermott, right to the head of Mia Clammer. McDermott's brand new to taking corners for the Syracuse team. Hadn't really done it until this past week, but excellent opportunity. That might be the best offensive chance that either team has had so far.
Wrianna Hudson had a really good opportunity right in front of goal, but it was right in the stomach of Vanderbosch. Solai Washington moves it over for Torre. McDermott now operating in that wingback role. She started the day up top. That's what head coach Nikki Thrasher-Adams loves about her, her ability to really play and pop up anywhere on the pitch.
The reason why it's so important with the way that the Syracuse team is made is because you have Anna Rupert up top too, who you want to get the opportunity to play. There's only 2 forwards ahead, so you got to keep her on the field. You can move McDermott to the wingback position.
Torre had space momentarily in the 6-yard box. Across, doesn't find a granite jersey. Asia Cologne now facing up McDermott. Back to Torre, who's been really active. Hits a shot, and it goes awry, but Torre certainly is no fear in shooting the ball, especially from distance.
Yeah, no fear at all, but you got to be careful doing that against Shea Vanderbosch because she's so good at those outside saves. If it's outside the box, she's usually going to get to it. So, you know, if you're Nikki Thrasher-Adams, you're more than happy with allowing those shots from way outside. That's why Syracuse is packing it in so much in front of Vanderbosch. They're fine with her being tested as long as the shot doesn't come right in front of the goal.
And our Dan Jallum spoke about this before the game, that head coach Brian Pensky, he wants Florida State to keep their shots low to try and get a better advantage against Vanderbosch because, as you mentioned, Adam, she's so good at saving those shots in the air.
We haven't seen that yet today. There hasn't been a point where Vanderbosch has had to dive low or a shot that's missed wide low.
Mya Clommer was down on one knee. She is still hunched down right in the center circle. Florida State continues their attack, though. Jimenez, a sliding tackle, and it is a foul for Florida State, and this will be another really good opportunity. Mya Clommer, though, still in some discomfort.
Advantage played there as Solai Washington was sent to the ground, and as you said, Clommer down on the ground in the center circle, but she looks to be okay now, able to jog back towards the middle, and now Syracuse has all 11 players back in the box right now, fully defending against this free kick.
This time it's going to be Gianna Riley. Laura Dantas took the first free kick that was in a similar area. Dantas went for goal. It was right at Vanderbosch. Gianna Riley also does not have any goals on the season, the senior, who spent her first 2 collegiate years at Gonzaga, where she played track and field as well as basketball. She's certainly an athlete. She's going to try and test Vanderbosch from a free kick. And it's just like Dantas, it is right at the stomach of Vanderbosch, and she'll take that all day.
Yeah, you have to test Shea if you take one of those shots on a free kick. If you hit it anywhere in the vicinity of Vanderbosch, she's going to make the save. It seems like maybe that they were going for a quick curl into the top left corner or something along those lines, but obviously just was not hit the way that the Seminoles were hoping.
Interesting, we didn't see the free kick taken low on the ground, you know, under the wall type of thing, given that Coach Pensky kind of wanted his team to follow that strategy.
It's a good thing to bring up, too, because Syracuse is not one of the teams that has a player laying behind the wall like you see sometimes.
This will be Denayan's first time on the ball since coming in. She's another player that can really pop up anywhere on the pitch. Looks like she's going to be operating out wide. And falls right in the lap of Clommer. It's fed out wide to Rupert. Rupert won't quite get to it. It'll be a Florida State throw-in as Syracuse is preparing another change. Abby Incorvaya will come in, and it's going to be for Mya Clommer, who is a little shaken up. Seminoles also making a change. Coming out is Asia Cologne. And for more on Mya Clommer, we're going to send it down to our sideline reporter, Dan Shallow.
Thanks, AJ. Mya Clommer just was down on that last play. She's been riddled by injury for a lot of her career. She was at St. Rose prior to coming to Syracuse, which closed down. She planned to finish her career out with her sister there, then was left with no options. Eventually found Syracuse, was supposed to team up with Erin Fleury, who's now at Auburn last year. but she had a season-ending injury in her first match against UAlbany. That was an exhibition. Now she's back with SU in her final year of college soccer, and she leads the team with 5 goals.
Dan, thanks so much. And Adam, we spoke about it earlier, too, how much Coach Thrasher Adams has really enjoyed having Clomber leading the line this season.
She's just your true striker. She's a goal scorer that you can really trust, and you know, she brings something that Erin Fleury did not last year. Most of her goals came from outside the box. Clomber's a player that you can trust in the area, you know, with there's 3 players around her to still find a way to get a goal.
0-0 approaching halftime. Syracuse hasn't had too many strong looks at goal. Corvaya there looking to get her first look in the game, and it's out for a Syracuse corner, and it was a good corner that was hit last time by McDermott. It was a header from Clomber that went right into the stomach of Osteen.
Now for the first time today, Bree Bridges, one of the center backs, is pushing forward, so maybe they go for her. She's standing over the back post right now.
Coach Adams loves all the height on this team. It just gives them another advantage. Sent right to the hands of Osteen, and for a freshman goalkeeper, Adam, she had a pretty solid first half.
No, she's been great, looks so confident, especially on those corner kicks. Just has no fear going out and grabbing that. It's another good delivery there from McDermott, similar area, but Osteen saw it all the way, and you could see that it was targeted for Bridges, just couldn't get there in time.
The expectation is we'll see the other freshman, Kate O'Keen, in net in the second half for Florida State. Addie Todd is the traditional #1 option for the Seminoles, but she's getting the day off.
How about Osteen and O'Keen in net? That could be a little bit difficult to remember.
Yep, shake now, shake, shake, shake. No, Abby. Go, Abby, go. Go, Anna. Go, Anna. Go, Anna.
Interesting to see how both teams play out these final 4 minutes. No one wanting to give up a goal right before half.
You can hear Syracuse's assistant coach, Brandon Yanoyer, yelling out on the top of his lungs, trying to get his team to push far forward and press even more than they have been right now.
Could be a tired Syracuse team. It's a hot day here at SU Soccer Stadium.
This is where you have to be careful the last couple minutes of the half. You know, with how this game has gone, with Florida State really dominating the pace of play, it's not uncommon in a match of this character to see a goal in the last minute or 2 of a half.
Mya Brandon, number 13 on the ball. She has 2 assists and hasn't played much. Another freshman for the Seminoles.
Nice job there by McDermott to just send it out, allow the rest of her defense to work back. Now you see another opportunity here for Florida State in the area. Wouldn't be shocked if we see a lot more of these one-touch passes, the quick passes, and try and work the ball in the area and get a good shot off that's not 20 yards away from cage.
Peyton Norris coming in for Florida State, coming in for Torre. First look for Norris. Ball fed all the way back, and Florida State will reset. Ball into the 6-yard box, a shot and a goal, a bottom corner strike. Solai Washington with the goal, and right before the end of half, Syracuse concedes, and Florida State gets a goal that they've been coming partially this half, but that Syracuse defense had held up pretty well until this.
Well, take a look at this replay. I wish we could get a replay of me just saying that. I could see a Florida State goal in the final minute of the half, but it's that same thing. The quick passing, the Syracuse legs are so tired in front of the net that you just get into that spot where, you know, you're so tired, final minute, you're thinking, oh man, we're so close, and you just lose a player in front of the net, and you know, Shea Vanderbosch is never going to be able to make that save. Excellent job going low, exactly what the strategy was coming into this game.
Syracuse trying to hit back right away.
Florida State University scored by number 28.
And for Solai Washington, that's her first goal of the season. From Atlanta, Georgia, the sophomore. She was a Gatorade Player of the Year in Atlanta. And for Syracuse, there were so many positives to take away from this first half, and now you can see late. Still not done yet.
Florida State might add another.
All the legs for the Seminoles still with the amount of substitutions they've made in this game.
If you're Syracuse, you worry that that might have opened the floodgates now for this Seminoles offense.
The Orange just trying to get into the halftime locker room now to regroup. Ball fed into the 18-yard box. At height, you can see the advantage Syracuse has at times with the height, especially in that back line. And interestingly enough, Adam, that goal from Washington low on the ground.
Yep.
Florida State maybe now just content to take this one into halftime. But with their ability to move the ball so fast up the field, you never know.
Yeah, I think they'll get at least one more opportunity here in the final 30 seconds.
Bree Bridges with the interception. Durham can't connect the final ball. We're in the final 10 seconds of the first half.
6, 5, 4,
Dermott
3,
boots it forward,
2,
and that will send us to halftime. It's Florida State 1, Syracuse 0. Solai Washington, the difference, her first goal of the season right before the end of the first half. And
So much national team experience on the squad.
Dan, thank you so much. And the referee getting ready to blow his whistle. We're underway in the second half here at SU Soccer Stadium. Seminoles doing the same thing Syracuse did. They just booting the ball right down the field. Florida State in the granite moving right to left. Syracuse in the blue moving left to right.
Just look how much Florida State is pushing these defenders forward. They've got the entire team on the other side of midfield, all the forwards pushing forward. It's going to be interesting to see what these tactical changes are that Nikki Thrasher-Adams talked about at the half.
Right on the attack for Florida State. Now Syracuse, can they maybe counter, but the Seminoles do so well in getting back, and McDermott didn't have too many options forward.
It's still early, so it's obviously a little bit tough to tell, but it seems to me like the one change is Mya Brandon maybe being a little bit more of a one forward, with then McDermott dropping back a little bit into more of a false 9 to help out the midfield.
Looks like the same 11s for both sides that started this game. Peyton McGovern on the ball. So quick with the ball at her feet. Good defending from Syracuse. It's Anna Croyle getting in the way. This is a Florida State side that won the ACC tournament last season. They beat North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and then things then went a little awry and a little unexpected. A shock loss to Vanderbilt. That's something that Coach Penske has kept kind of hidden away in the summer and the start of the season, but he did, Adam, bring it back up at the start of ACC play on Thursday against Louisville.
He said that there was definitely an emotional response to it that he was happy about, that the team did not want that feeling of defeat again.
Corner for Florida State. Vanderbosch wasn't tested too much other than the goal. A lot of the shots were right towards her. It's an Asia Cologne with the set piece. Bomber heads it down into the ground, away only momentarily. Cologne once again on the ball. Another cross that is right into the lap of Vanderbosch.
I think these first 10 minutes of the second half are really extra crucial for Syracuse to try and keep this at a one-goal game. It's going to be really tough to score not just one, but two against Florida State. If you give up another to try and get that point, you got to keep this game where it is to give yourself a chance. You know, Florida State is going to come out and really attack to start this second half. We've already seen it through the first couple of minutes that they are really pushing numbers forward, so the Orange have to make sure that they don't get caught behind.
It's a free kick for Florida State. I think a little confusion on the foul, or if there was one. I think it is a throw-in, rather. No, it is a free kick for Syracuse. throw in. Dudley hit the deck, and it's a foul on Nixon. Those Syracuse center backs, Adam, I thought they did a pretty good job defending off the Seminoles and those two big strikers that they had. The goal wasn't really any of their faults.
Yeah, they definitely did a good job. The goal was much more of, I think, final minute of the half. Everyone's really tired, and you just lose a player, lose a little bit of concentration in the last second.
Solai Washington with the goal. She's on the bench right now. She started from the bench in this one.
More on those tactical changes for Syracuse. I said it was maybe a bit of a false nine for McDermott. More, it looks like she's just roaming anywhere right now.
A ball near post, doesn't find the back of the net, but close for Una McCormack. Vanderbosch had it covered, though.
You see McCormack try and go low with the shot, find that bottom corner, but Vanderbosch in perfect placement in the cage right now. She's in the great spot all the way on the left, and you know, even if that does get towards the corner, she was going to deny it.
See the shot disparity there. Seminoles have scored now 15 goals in the last 4 games. Taylor Suarez works it out wide. Lifts the ball into the 6-yard box. Was looking for Dudley. It's going to trickle out for another Florida State corner. It's their second in a young second half. Cologne took it moments ago, and she'll do the same again. Ball right in the middle to Vanderbosch. She falls onto the floor, and it's a free kick for Syracuse as Shea looks like she maybe took some contact to the back.
The strategy there is definitely obvious of just trying to crowd the keeper, take Vanderbosch out of the play. As you get a good look at it here. I mean, she's just surrounded on all sides, gets run into. You gotta be careful there if you're FSC. You can't run into the keeper like that. Could potentially be a card at some point, because that got pretty physical.
It's the one player on those set pieces that kind of has some leeway with the physical contact. Free kick for Syracuse. Wisbeck plays it back to Nixon. Both teams working with a back 3 in defense. Turnover for Florida State. Can Syracuse capitalize? And Adam, I think that play right there kind of sums it up for the Orange. Just can't put 2-3 passes together.
No, they can't, but you can see here this pressure from Mya Brandon is starting to cause a little bit of chaos for Florida State. This is the first time where they haven't been able to maintain possession because of this Orange press.
Dudley swings Wisbeck down to the ground, no foul. And then Wisbeck, maybe a little retaliation, leaving her leg. Rather, that was Emma Klein. But it did seem like more of a tactical foul from Klein.
Definitely, just trying to slow down the Florida State counterattack, which is so lethal and so quick ahead. Just help get those numbers back for the Orange.
Jordan's left shoulder. Jordan's left shoulder. Yeah, punch it in there. Ready, go, Reed. Go up! Go up!
Cologne feeds it into Dudley, out to Suarez. Great triangle play there. Suarez has space out wide. A ball played in low. Defended really well once again from the Orange. Too much to chase for Clommer. Referee blows his whistle, and it was out for a Syracuse throw.
You can really just see the difference in the level of play of Florida State and Syracuse right now. I mean, we're talking about one of the best teams in the country year in, year out with the Seminoles, and they just have so much ability on the offensive half of the pitch with those quick passes and, you know, just unbelievable ability to play within the triangle. And it's just so hard to stop if you're Syracuse. All those passes are perfectly placed.
Plenty of ball chasing for the Orange, which can be tiring, especially with the Florida State side that has so much depth. Cologne whips the ball into the box, far post header, it's in, and it's 2-0 for Florida State. An excellent cross from Cologne, and it's tapped home by Mya Brandon. Freshman's first goal of the season. She had 2 assists coming into this one, and what a cross from Cologne.
And again, it's that same thing of just everything is perfectly placed. You can't ask for a better cross than that. Not much that Brandon had to do other than make sure that her head was facing in the right direction. But that's one that I bet Shea Vanderbosch wishes that she could have back. She's in a pretty good position, and it actually almost hits off that right hand, but it's just so hard on that quick header to try and make sure you're not just in the right spot, but you're able to get a hand on it and stop it. Really just impressive there on an incredible cross in and a great finish from Brandon.
Brandon just 5'2", so she did have to get up there a little bit for the header. The Orange making a change as Vita Nyhan comes in for Gabby Wisbeck. A quick change for head coach Nikki Thrasher-Adams, a lot faster than what she did in the first half.
I think that a lot of this is just trying to bring on some more offensive prowess with having Nyhan in. She scored, that goal recently. She's got so much creativity and aggressiveness on the wing.
Rauch from the restart gave it right back to Florida State, but this is why you do that type of restart. Bring pressure down, and now Syracuse has a throw-in in the Seminoles defending half.
They can get the ball into the corner, and now we see Syracuse try the long throw, one of these almost corner kick-esque type plays where you can just create chaos in front of the cage.
Palmer will attempt the throw. Lifted in, couldn't quite fall for McDermott. Nixon keeps it alive, though, for the Orange. Rauch will chase, doesn't have enough to keep it in. Mya Brandon, the goal scorer, the second one for Florida State, didn't start the first half, so that was one of the changes made to start the second half. And just again, the abundance of depth that Florida State has, so many options to create offense and score goals. Syracuse caught in some traffic. Dudley comes up with it, feeds it to Suarez. Suarez so comfortable with the ball at her feet, makes that turn look so easy. Cologne can't reach Hudson.
Great job by the Orange to get numbers back there and slow down that counter. That's definitely a difference from the first half, especially with those wing backs, making sure that they don't get caught too far up the pitch.
Nixon with the free kick. Searching for McDermott. Ryan just checking into this one. It's around Hudson quite nicely. And then Nixon just boots it forward. Rauch with Clommer back face to goal. Clommer hits the deck. She was a little shooken up in that first half. Good to see her recovered. And now Florida State can shrug forward. McCormick feeds it wide. Dudley eases her way in. Wide again for Cologne, who just got the assist. She won't reach that one. It's a Syracuse throw.
AJ, I think the biggest difference that I see between these teams is on the first touch, Florida State is always looking forward. They're always looking towards goal, while Syracuse is looking back and just trying to slow things down and almost calm down. They're not worried about pushing forward, just trying not to turn the ball over.
Syracuse is going to prepare another change. Julia Arbelize, who we did not see the freshman in the first half, is getting ready to check in. She'll most likely fill in one of those wing-back roles.
Pretty shocked she didn't play at all in that first half.
Dudley works her way in the 6 and crosses it over the goal, and it'll be a goal kick for Syracuse. And now the Orange can make that change with Arbelize coming in. Arbelize has played in every game, yet to make a start, does have 1 assist on the year. That came last week against SMU, or last Thursday rather, against SMU when she crossed it in for Vita Nyhan.
Now you get some fresh legs out there at that right wing back position. Arbelize also brings a lot of creativity onto the pitch. Nikki Thrasher-Adams loves to mention that Colombian flair that she brings onto the field, just especially in a game like this where you need to get something going on offense, she can bring that.
Dudley may have an opportunity. Great defending, though, from the Orange. They shut down any opportunity of a shot. Nyhan now works it up. He's looking for McDermott, but it's a turnover, and something Syracuse really can't afford in this second half. McCormick defended by 2 Orange defenders.
Go central, or Dina, one of you guys go central.
Groove, the center back, hasn't had too much to do really. This whole Seminoles back line has been pretty quiet in the second half. Syracuse hasn't generated any attack. Thrown out wide again. Another cross into the box. Danger cleared only momentarily. McGrew's gonna have a chance, and it's way over to the bar. But she was given space and figured why not. Florida State is preparing 2 changes. Make that 4, as it looks like it's going to be another one of those line changes.
One order, Major.
Here's Kate O'Keen. It's her first look at the ball, and Clommer nearly got to it. The pressure here from Syracuse. Florida State having some difficulty to work it out, but they're still able to find a perfect pass to Cologne, and that's just the luxury this team has. Even when it looks to be going awry, they still get out of danger.
It's the biggest difference though so far though in the second half is the Syracuse forwards, especially Mya McDermott, have had a lot of success on the press. The issue is now you got to get numbers back.
Hudson's had her back turned to goal a lot in this game. That's how she likes to operate. And it is a foul on Syracuse and Florida State. They wanted to play quickly, but our referee says hold up. He wants to allow the changes, or unless there's an issue with his equipment. I think he's going to give a card to the Syracuse bench.
And Hudson's going to finish that 10 times out of 10. She's an incredible goal scorer. She's got 7 goals now in 7 games this season. And if you give her a chance in front of the net, she's just going to put it home. Always in the right spot like she was there, and gets a goal just an hour away from home.
After the goal, Florida State changes out essentially their entire team. And for more on Hudson, we send it down to Dan Shallon.
Adam, you mentioned Hudson's family being here. She has loads in attendance today. Being from Rochester, Mom Wanda and Dad Woody Hudson are here, along with her brother and sister. More than that, though, some of Hudson's coaches and current players from her youth team, 3TC, are here wearing her jersey. And Mom Wanda told me that she's a teacher, so she can't be here for every game that Hudson plays, but to be here today is extremely special for her. They're super happy that she's with the Seminoles. She's had lots of success. Wanda's originally from Florida, so while Mom can't be at every game, she's got plenty of support in the Sunshine State, and certainly treated to a goal here with Hudson scoring just now.
Certainly one that Hudson wanted to get. Coming back home to New York and now getting the goal, and Adam, the task gets no easier as Florida State now has basically a new team on the field.
And this is what you worried about if you were Syracuse. Once you allow 1 goal to go in, then the floodgates can really start to open, and this is where these fresh legs can really make a difference.
Florida State 3, Syracuse 0.
Coach Penske loves having Hudson in the locker room. She's a great player off the field as well. Her freshman season, she actually had to go back to New York to receive a citizenship award for stuff she did in high school, and it just kind of shows the type of person that she is.
She's one of those players that I think is going to be a star in women's soccer for the next 10 to 15 years. She has what it takes, without a doubt, to make an impact on the national team and the NWSL or the USL Super League. She will be playing professional soccer in a few years. There's no doubt about it. You'll see her on your television.
Number 6, Laura Lantis, for number 12, Peyton McGovern. And number 21,
Syracuse now, you feel the focus is maybe just try and string together a few passes, keep Florida State out of the 18-yard box.
You're in such a tough spot because you can't push more numbers forward because you're going to get caught behind again, and the Seminoles can so easily add on another.
Ball staying in play for Florida State. Numbers going into the box, across into the box. Nixon clears momentarily, and Vanderbosch collects. And for here at Syracuse on the Hill, Syracuse field hockey, they continue to stay in action. They got Wake Forest on Friday in Syracuse, and it's a field hockey team that has a lot of expectations as they do year in and year out. And they were in action today. They were trailing Lafayette early on, but a good comeback from the Orange to win 5-2. And they'll now ramp up conference play. ACC super difficult as well in field hockey.
It's an exciting season for Lynn Farquhar and her team, all the way up into the top 5 of the rankings. 3 straight ranked victories last week away from home, and now they finally return home to play in, you guessed it, the toughest conference in the country. That's what the ACC is in all of these Olympic sports.
It was an exciting night here last night at SU Soccer Stadium. Syracuse men's soccer couldn't quite pull out a result against Stanford, a 3-2 game, a really thrilling one, and it was a good crowd on hand as well.
Number 8 Cardinal came out on top. Syracuse actually led in the second half before Stanford had 2 goals in the final 15 minutes. Syracuse was hoping for a few upsets at the stadium this weekend, and it felt like through the first 40 minutes maybe there was a chance for it in this game, but now Florida State has added not just 1 but 2 goals, and it feels pretty much out of reach for Syracuse to get 3 goals. It feels like it would be hard to see them score even 1 in this one, just based on how this second half has gone so far.
More substitutions for the Noles. They now have almost a brand new 11 that didn't start this second half.
And it's all fresh legs. It's all players who are ready to run. Syracuse, on the other hand, has a bunch of players out on the field who have played the entirety of the game so far and have been running non-stop throughout this game.
Chance here as Arbelize, it's her first look really on the ball. She rips a shot. Why not test the freshman goalkeeper, but it's over the bar.
There's just not that many options there for Arbelize. Syracuse has so many players back. The back 3 all on the other side of the field. The 2 6s in Croyle and Klein were almost in the circle, so Arbelize is basically by herself with Clomber and McDermott. I mean, maybe you can try and take another touch and find McDermott in front of the net, but she's got 2 players in Garnett right next to her, so just not many options there, I guess, but to pray that your shot from outside is a perfectly hit one.
Chasing that is Solai Washington. She got the first goal of this match. It's Washington was looking to curl it in the bottom corner. Doesn't quite find it, though.
Just good recovery there defensively for Jasmine Nixon. I mean, how about this run to get behind the defense? However, Nixon gets back, gets into position, and does a great job of not giving any shooting lanes.
Change for Syracuse as Mya Clomber exits the game and Anna Rupert checks in her place. Clomber has had to do a lot of chasing and a lot of running. Not an easy job as a striker when your team doesn't see a lot of the ball.
Not easy at all, and she's done a great job of moving back and trying to help out the defense whenever she can. She's not just staying up top near the midfield line when Florida State has it in possession.
Washington again getting on the ball. She is full of running. Looks to cross it in again. It's batted around, and it's going to be an own goal for goal number 4. It goes off of Bree Bridges, and it is 4-0 in favor of Florida State.
That's a tough one to give. Goal, always a really difficult one to give up, and that's just kind of one of those things that you think, oh my goodness, that really just happened. At the end of the day, I think the one thing that you can look at here is if you're Natalie Magnotta, you have to kind of look at where you're clearing it out to. You never really want to clear it out in front of the goal, and you have to make sure that there's no one right where you're kicking it. It's a really tough thing to do because there's chaos. You're just trying to get it out of the area, but at the end of the day, the last thing you can do is hit it off one of your teammates.
Mya Brandon comes back in the game for Florida State. It was 1-0 going into this second half, and Adam, you touched on it in the first half. You worried if Florida State got that 1 goal, could Syracuse then recover? Unfortunately, they've been unable to do that.
It's pretty simple why. You give up that 1 goal, you go behind in the game, and it's a natural instinct to then think, all right, we got to push numbers forward, we got to try and get one back. You push numbers forward, then there's space behind, and that's where Florida State is going to take advantage of it. And again, the Seminoles have 20 players that they can trust out on the pitch. There's so many fresh legs that they're going up against a tired team while they're fresh, and they have so much space behind it. It's a recipe for disaster if you're Syracuse.
Emma Klein exits the game, and Olivia Bazo will come in. Bazo is a regular in this team, hasn't made any starts in the starting lineup from the get-go, but has been a good option off the bench for head coach Nikki Thrasher-Adams. And we've really talked a lot, Adam, today about Florida State's depth, and rightfully so, it's so good. But Coach Adams also is really happy with the depth that she has compared to prior years going into ACC play.
Especially with the underclassmen. You see Julia Arbelize on the ball right here with Olivia Bazo, Anna Coyle, another one of the underclassmen, Vita Nyhan as well. I think that there's definitely a lot of promise in future years for the Syracuse team if they can keep these talented players in town, because you know, they've made an impact off the bench, and they've had some positive moments in this game.
When conference play ended for Syracuse, it was against Cornell. They celebrated the seniors, and this weekend they had a few alumni events as well. The Orange continue a homestand. They're going to be here hosting Virginia next Saturday at 7. And then Florida State, they play what is going to be a really good game against North Carolina in Chapel Hill. That's one I encourage everyone to watch. Two of the best programs in women's soccer.
It's a North Carolina team that won the national title last year. Florida State won it the year before. And the Tar Heels have struggled this season. They lost to Tennessee. They lost to Georgia. They've started to get back on track. So at home against Florida State, that is going to be a must-watch game here on our ESPN family networks.
Anna Rupert chasing that one. McDermott, who's had a really strong game when she's gotten onto the ball. Not too many options forward for the Orange.
She's got no help. It's her and Rupert, and then about 9 players on the other side of the field.
Plenty of tired legs out there for Syracuse. Nyhan spins it the other way.
Great job there for the Orange to switch the point of attack, something that they haven't done much, but then just a bad giveaway from Nyhan.
Washington, great ball control once again. Feeds it out wide to Norris. Nixon defending Norris. Norris trickling her way inside the box. Can't hang with it, though. Syracuse gets it clear only momentarily. Nixon lets that one go out for a goal kick, and more substitutions in this second half. Gabby Wisbeck coming off, so too is Mya McDermott.
Substitution for Syracuse, number 11, Lou Galbus, number 15.
And Lou Galbus coming in for the Orange. Galbus, another one of those attacking options, yet to open her account.
First time today that Mya McDermott comes off the pitch. She played the first 70 minutes of this game, was really in that kind of 50 to 60 minute range to the start of this season, but it started to see those minutes tick up, and I thought that she was probably the best Syracuse player out on the pitch today. Just great with her passing and the ability to move back on defense even while playing in the forward position.
And now leading the line for Syracuse is Galbus and Rupert. Rupert did get her account open against Cornell, and that was something Coach Adams was really happy to see, giving more attacking options. And I think if Galbus could get any kind of look on goal today to boost up her confidence, that would certainly benefit this Syracuse side going into more ACC play.
Definitely, and Galbus, a player who's got a lot of pedigree to her, started her career at North Carolina. To get recruited there, you have to be very talented, and Galbus is. A lot of the times, you just need your first at your new school, and then a lot more can come after that.
Quick restart for Florida State, but a little too quick to the referee's liking. And it wasn't in the right spot. Florida State does it again, and they regroup. Ball staying in play. Galbus chasing.
I mean, even that was perfectly placed. That's unbelievable. How? That was a clearance to try and keep it in. You play it back towards your own goal, which is dangerous, but it just happens to be right at the foot of your teammate. That's absurd.
Antis on the ball. Gives it to Washington. So many options in the midfield for Florida State that just bring a lot of control. Torre, the freshman who looked really promising in the first half, she's back on the field now as well. Torre's going to have a look out wide here. 2 options in the box for the Noles. All whipped in. Vanderbosch will collect comfortably. Shouts for handball, referee doesn't give it. Arbelines feeds it up to Rupert. Albus getting on the ball again. She's looked promising since coming on. Can't quite connect the pass with Nyhan though. And Syracuse is going to make another change here. Gabby Wisbeck's going to come back into the contest, and Nyhan will exit the game.
Definitely a bit of a tough day for Vita Nyhan. You can just see the frustration start to come in a little bit. A couple giveaways, and that's why I put Wisbeck back onto the field.
Ball worked all the way back. It goes sailing over the head of Croyle. See, Florida State maybe has taken their foot off the gas slightly, still with a full press, but getting a little sloppy in possession as Arbelines does a really good job. Referee is playing advantage here as Arbelines was getting pulled pretty consistently from Ahmed. Rauch looking for some options in the 18-yard box. It's cleared away for a throw, and Adam, that's a good stretch of play from Syracuse, even though they're down 4-0, still trying to push for that goal.
Yeah, very impressive there to just control possession for a decent amount of time, and this is exactly what you want to see from these, second-string players on Syracuse, your bench players. You put in every game, and you need to contribute to, put together a minute like this. Definitely an impressive thing that you can take away from this match.
Galvez couldn't quite keep that one in, and Ashley Rauch, you can see at the bottom quarter of your screen. And for more on Florida State's mindset coming in today, we send it back down to Dan Challam on the sideline.
Thanks, AJ. Florida State coming into this game, the big message was that they were not satisfied with the 2-0 win against Louisville the other day. You go back to that 1-1 draw for them against Kansas. Brian Pensky, the head coach for Florida State, said he was not happy after that, and they wanted to come in here and make a statement. They've certainly done that now, leading this game 4-0 with so many shots on goal. And for this team, too, if they're to close this one out, that'll be 4 clean sheets in a row for the Seminoles. So Penske's got to be pretty happy about his team is playing in the ACC to start.
Chance here maybe for the Orange, but it's right to one of the new goalkeepers for the Seminoles, Kate O'Keen. Evan Osteen started the first half, and then O'Keen took over in the second half. And Dan, you mentioned the clean sheets, but also on the other side, 19 goals in the last 4 games isn't bad.
Not bad at all. And AJ, I think that Florida State today has been maybe the most impressive team that I've seen with my own 2 eyes here at Syracuse in at least the last 3 years. They're just at a level right now that it's hard to describe, where every single pass seems to have intent behind it and seems to be basically perfect. They're rarely giving it away. They're swarming the ball. This has just been such an impressive match from the Seminoles. And, the fact that it's almost 20 players who can come in and that level of play does not drop off at all, I think is one of the things that jumps out to you the most. I mean, your starting forwards are off the field, but you can't tell because the level of play is just as high as it was at the start of the game.
And right on cue, more substitutions for Florida State. Jada McGrew, who started this game, comes back in. So too does Cameron Simmons. So 2 starters coming back in for the Noles. Heather Gilchrist comes out, and so too does Sophie Wynn. I think it'll be interesting for Coach Penske if he continues this heavy rotation once the stronger ACC opponents come up, like North Carolina, next for them.
I wouldn't be shocked, at least with how they've played today, because again, that level of play does not look like it drops off at all. And if you have the ability to get deep into your bench against a team like North Carolina, that just takes you to the next level.
Great first touch from Washington, brings it right down. The ball just glues to her feet every time she gets on it. Another cross sent in, looking for Torrey right in front of goal, and it's just wide of the post.
Another excellent opportunity there for Torrey, the freshman who came off the bench. Freshman to freshman there, McGrew to Torrey. And again, I'll go back to it, but you know, the ability that you have to have 20 players come in and still make an impact, I think even makes more of a difference when you get to a game against a team like North Carolina, because you know, at that point your starters are going to be usually at right about the same level, but if you can bring in players off the bench that the level of play doesn't drop off at all, then you have the added ability of maybe being, you know, a little bit fresher out on the field. You don't have tired legs out there, and you know, that can really be what sets your team over the top. We talk about a Florida State program that year in and year out thinks that it should be winning the national title. You know, this is exactly where this program wants to be, and you know, I think that Brian Penske is to be so happy with what he's seen with his team in this match so far.
The Paytons are back in the game for Florida State. Peyton Norris, who spells it with an E, and Peyton McGovern, who spells it with an A. Florida State working the ball towards the center now, feeding it out wide. Coming up on 10 minutes left here at SU Soccer Stadium. AJ Myers, Adam Gotkin taking you through this one. Ball into the box. Syracuse just trying to clear it away and gives themselves a chance to regroup. It's going to go out for an Orange throw-in. Adam, it was a closely contested first half. It was just 1-0 at halftime. The second half, though, Florida's really putting their mark on the game. Yeah, and it's not really much of a surprise. Even though it was 0-0 through 40 minutes, it was one that was dominated by Florida State, and you just had the feeling that, you know, if they could get one in, then the rest will follow. That's how these matches happen so often when Syracuse takes on the cream of the crop in the ACC. They can keep it close, but then, you know, once that first goal goes in, it's so hard to not allow more and more and more to come. And you know, it's just unfortunate for the Orange because I think that there was a lot of promise in those first 40 minutes. The thing is you have to find a way to score a goal and put pressure on the other team and, you know, make them feel uncomfortable, because Florida State's in a perfectly fine spot if they're even at, you know, 0-0 40 minutes in. They have the belief that they can get 4 goals in the final 50 minutes of a game. It's when you can put pressure on them and, you know, force them to play from behind. If you can get a goal in the first 10 to 20 minutes, that's where you can really have a chance. You know, that's what Syracuse did when it played Florida State here 2 years ago, and the Orange had a chance. They lost 3-2 and gave up a couple goals towards the end. Why they didn't get a result is, you know, they put the pressure on early, and I think that's going to be probably the biggest key for Syracuse in the rest of the season and the rest of ACC play is the first 10 to 15 minutes on offense, score. You know, really put pressure on the opposition. If you can do that, then anything can happen and you can end up getting the victory. But it's so much harder when you go down to then, you know, need to score 2 goals. And this is a Syracuse offense that has struggled to score all throughout the season. So having to score 2 goals is not going to be easy against an ACC team. If you can score first and then defend, that'll make things so much easier moving forward. Ashley Rauch taking her time coming off the field. Very exhausted. Rauch is one of those players that has played every minute this season, is a fixture in Coach Adams' team and one of the leaders, if not the biggest leader on this team. And in games like this, you know, the task for these players up top, for players like Rauch who are roaming so much throughout the field, is just so much more difficult. You know, we talk about this quick passing from Florida State and all the things that it does. One of the other benefits that it has is that it forces the team on defense to be moving around nonstop and continue running and, you know, keep chasing the ball. And, you know, it's so tiring to play defense that it's really difficult. Really good string of play here from the Orange. Mook Galbus may have a chance. Galbus couldn't quite leave it out of her feet. Waited too long. Opportunity not gone yet, though. All swung into the box, looking near post. Looking for Rupert, couldn't find it. And the ball that is then swung back in, out of play from Koval. But a good swing of play, and it brings a nice applause from SU Soccer Stadium.
Definitely an encouraging attack there from Syracuse. I just think you need to see maybe a little bit more intent with what they're doing with Mook Galbus. She probably had a chance to fire a shot off in a moment. You can just kind of tell that, you know, until Julia Koval finally goes towards the net, there's just a little bit of hesitancy. You got to just try and put it on goal. You know, it's really difficult. You're down by 4, but you put it on goal. Maybe there's a rebound, something along those lines. Chaos can happen. If you keep passing it around waiting for the perfect shot, that perfect shot's not going to come, especially against a defense as organized as Florida State. They're going to get those numbers back and close all the lanes.
Florida State back on the attack once again. Shifted out wide to Gianna Riley. Doesn't hold on the ball too long. This is a quick cross. The wait will go on for Syracuse in getting another ACC win. The last one came September 25th in 2022 against Miami here at SU Soccer Stadium. It's so tough as another cross in goes sailing over the bar. And it's such a tough ACC slate every year for head coach Nikki Thrasher-Adams. So many ranked opponents in conference play, Adam.
Yeah, it's close to impossible. Sorry, it's close to impossible to try and pick up wins in the ACC. I mean, now you look at the teams that you have to play, Virginia, and then on the road at Stanford, Duke, and North Carolina. It's just so difficult. It never gets easy, especially with how this schedule was made for Syracuse this year, to have to go out to the West Coast, which is going to be really difficult, and then end the regular season in the Research Triangle at Duke, at North Carolina, 2 of the best programs in the country. I mean, yeah, that's just brutal to end your season that way against Duke and UNC.
And of course, with the expansion of the ACC, the travel does not get any easier for Syracuse, having to go out west. And, you know, Coach Adams talks about this a lot. You know, in the ACC, there's a big disadvantage because there's so many teams in the Carolinas, in that Florida area, that have to do a lot less traveling.
Yeah, it's so much more difficult when you're up north like Syracuse. Other than BC and Pitt, everyone's far away.
Chance maybe for Florida State as Norris works her way into the box, but it's good defending from the Orange.
Now, when you go back to the non-conference schedule and how Syracuse plans things out, you know, it's part of the reason why things are the way they are.
Riley with a cross into the box, ended away by the Orange.
Look at Florida State. They were able to schedule a really good test early in the season at Kansas. Syracuse, on the other hand, they go to Quinnipiac, to Princeton, to Holy Cross. You know, those road games against teams that aren't necessarily at the caliber of a Kansas, because you have to fill the schedule and you want to get away from home.
And for Florida State, they have to deal with the same difficulty and how challenging it is with their ACC play as well.
Now, the other thing is, though, is that Florida State is at the level of these best teams. So, you know, you have no doubt that they can get it done. But, you know, just like Syracuse, it's a bit of a tough stretch. You have to go to North Carolina and to NC State. Back-to-back really tough games in the Research Triangle. And then, you know, at Notre Dame's not going to be easy. This is a really, really tough stretch for Florida State. But, you know, when you are a national title contender like the Seminoles are, this is the schedule that you want. You know that you're in the NCAA tournament. I mean, Florida State could probably almost lose out and still make it in with an at-large bid. So it's all about testing themselves and making sure at the end of the day that they are ready for the NCAA tournament. And, you know, they're ready to go on a deep run. Last year was very, very disappointing for the Seminoles team to lose at home in the second round to Vanderbilt. They want to get back to that national title like they did it in 2023. And, you know, everything that we've seen from this team in this match and, you know, watching them coming into this game, there's no doubt that they have the talent to get it done. You know, see how these tests can really make them going over the next month before postseason play gets underway.
Syracuse is going to make a few last-minute changes. There's going to be some starters coming back in. Mia Clommer, along with Abby Incorvaya. So too will Mackenzie Dupre. 3 changes for Nikki Thrasher-Adams' group. Bree Bridges, mistake there. Norris has it. It was an option forward. Anderson for the Noles, couldn't quite reach her. Another one looped into the box. Bridges has had a good job. I mean, Adam, you can't criticize the Syracuse backline too much. I mean, they've just been dealing with so much pressure these 90 minutes.
Yeah, it's such a difficult task to try and slow down this Florida State offense. Give a lot of credit to Jasmine Nixon. I think she's been really good in this match. She's done a good job of just slowing down some of the Florida State attack and done a really good job physical defending.
All looped up for Rupert to chase. McGrew does a great job. She's looked super comfortable back there defending, getting the start today.
She's been great, the freshman, just her second ever start, but you couldn't tell watching it. She just looks like she has so much experience, so much poise on the ball. Wouldn't be shocked if she gets some big minutes once ACC play really gets into the full swing of things, and Florida State's taking on those top 25 teams week in, week out.
Get up, Blazer, Blue!
All pushed ahead. Anderson with it. Anderson looking to get in on the goals, defended by Bridges. It's Anderson with the strike. What a save by Vanderbosch. That is what she has done time and time again, wearing the Syracuse colors.
It's just excellent. That's what you see Vanderbosch do so often. That time it's just a rocket of a shot right at her from Anderson, but no fear at all. Excellent job by Vanderbosch to punch it away, get both hands towards the ball, and force it out for a corner kick.
20 Florida State shots in this one. Laura Dantis will take the corner.
Win your zone, come on!
Fled in, still not cleared. Vanderbosch there momentarily, and it's going to trickle in, but the referee indicates Vanderbosch was fouled, so no goal, and Vanderbosch is in a considerable amount of discomfort. It's the second time she's been fouled on a corner.
A lot of concern here. Vanderbosch is an absolute warrior. She's dealt with injuries pretty much throughout her entire career. Hasn't been able to play in a lot of springs because of injuries. So you just hope that she's all okay right now. Florida State's been super aggressive with, trying to do their best at really crowding her on the corner kicks, and that's where it's dangerous. There's just chaos in front of the net, bodies flailing everywhere, and just hope that Vanderbosch is okay here.
And Syracuse, it was Lily Hayslett that took her penny off and is now putting on her gloves. That is the backup option for the Orange, as Vanderbosch is receiving some treatment after the collision that she's faced. Clock is stopped here at SU Soccer Stadium. Florida State in control, 4-0. 3 of the goals have come in this second half. Concern now for Syracuse's shot stopper, Shea Vanderbosch, who got fouled on the corner. Ball trickled into the goal, no goal, obviously. And Vanderbosch rises to her feet and gets a applause from SU Soccer Stadium.
Ellie! Hey! Asia! Let's go! Come on! Let's go!
Just an inadvertent knee to the chest, which is very painful.
Yeah. Oh, man, that really stinks.
Vanderbosch on her feet, but still in a lot of discomfort. Syracuse is making some more substitutions.
And luckily, that's one of those things that really just hurts in the moment, and it shouldn't be any sort of long-term injury, but yeah, that really stings, and that really, really hurts a lot. It's dangerous, too, to just get the knee up there. I'm a little bit surprised that that wasn't a yellow card for just in that area in front of the keeper.
Lily Hayslett still warming up. just in case, but seems as though Vanderbosch will be okay to continue.
Syracuse is very lucky this year to have a lot of depth with its goalkeepers. 4 of them on the roster this year, as you said, Hazlett, now the number 2. Leif Braun, who was the number 2 last year and actually got a start when Vanderbosch was dealing with injury. He's now dropped all the way down to the number 3 just because of how good Hazlett has been in her sophomore season.
Of course, for Shea Vanderbosch, this is it. Her Syracuse tenure will come to an end at the end of this season. It's been an excellent tenure. She's chasing some history as well, Adam, that she'll hope to get to by the end of this season in terms of saves.
Now, she'll probably break the Syracuse career saves mark by the end of this month. Just such an impressive player, someone who, we have no doubt her soccer career will continue on after this season, whether it's professionally in America or somewhere in Europe. She'll be playing top flight soccer somewhere, either in the spring or next season.
Over the summer, she played semi-professional soccer with FC Buffalo in the USLW League. That's something she's done quite often. It's really just been a joy to watch her in net the last 4 years. Since she's arrived on campus, she's been right back there for Syracuse, and Coach Nikki Thrasher-Adams likes what she has in Hazlett next year. It's presumed that she'll probably be the number 1 option.
Come on, get into work! Get into work! Press! Press!
Coming to a close here at SU Soccer Stadium. Florida State in control, 4-0. It's been a dominant second half from the Noles, scoring 3 goals.
Just such an impressive 90-minute performance from this Florida State team. I think one of the things that we haven't really talked about, but looking back on it, really impressed me was the fact that they never got flustered by the fact that it was 0-0 40 minutes in. They just kept doing their thing, kept playing their way, and they knew that eventually something was going to find the back of the net. If they just continued doing what they were doing, that's what your good teams do. They don't get flustered. They don't change because the first 40 minutes haven't gone their way. They just continue doing their thing, and it paid off for them in this one.
So throw in for Florida State. It was Solai Washington who got the first goal in the first half, right at the end of that first half, and then the goal scoring rolled over to the second half as well. Mya Brandon got the second one, and then a special goal for Wrianna Hudson back here in New York, the Rochester native rather, getting the third goal, and then it was an own goal for Bree Bridges. That is the summary of the scoring in this one. Florida State maybe looking for one more. Just opting to take it to the corner is Ashley Anderson.
Lock it in! Lock it in! No, Chief, don't drop. Go ahead. Good, mindset, Chief, keep coming. Keep coming, Chief. Now it's your ball.
Just such an impressive performance from the Seminoles today. I think they absolutely have cemented themselves as probably the team to beat in the ACC, back-to-back conference champs, and looking incredible to start off conference play this year.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
That'll do it from SU Soccer Stadium. A dominant performance from Florida State. They defeat Syracuse 4-0 in this one. It's their 12th straight regular season game without a loss. Another just dominant display from the Seminoles.
Brian Pensky is one of the best